All right, all right. So the first legend we're going to be doing is going to be Jin with his signature spell. So Jin Virtuoso is blue-red for Legend Jin. When you play a spell, if you spent 4 or more, you may banish it. Then, if there are 4 or more spells banished with me, put each of them in the trash, channel 4 runes, and draw a card. So obviously, the last one you do, you get back the runes for it, and you draw. So it's kind of like cycling the last one. Then all the other ones, they now go into the discard. This effect is very weird, right? Because like a lot of spells that look really good are some of the like repeat spells that look good. Because you just have to spend 4. You don't necessarily have to actually, it costs more than 4. You can get away with it with repeat cost stuff. My only issue is it's like you have to like, you do a lot to commit to actually gain anything. And personally, this effect is only really good when you start getting like 2 of it. So personally, my rating for Jin is going to be like a 3. I think Jin's fine. I think Jin's genuinely fine. But I still worry that I would just rather play Kha'Zix in these colors. Like, still, like, it's not necessarily beating power. And I don't think this effect necessarily beats power. Now, late game, sure. Absolutely, Jin goes way further than Kha'Zix does. But early, mid, and beginning of late, Kha'Zix is just going to get you the value. Like, and she will. So Jin, I'm sadly going to put at 3. I think he's still very strong. Just not so strong where I'm like, he will define the metagame and this is what we'll be defining and doing everything. Still good. Still really good. His signature spell, Curtain Call, is signature spell Jin for 4 energy and has repeat 1 or a power or 1 and a power. So you may do this for an additional cost for each repeat. So it goes just 4, then 5, then 5 and a power, then 6 and 2 power. Which reads, choose 1 you haven't already chosen. Draw, deal 2 to a unit at a battlefield, deal 3 to a unit at a base, and give a unit at a battlefield -4 this turn. So, I'm going to give it 2. My biggest problem, because, oh no, do I give it a, no, I'm going to just give it a 1. All right, so let me explain. So this card could have been very strong, but it's not. Reason being, if it just said choose 1, and then you could repeat it 4 times, you could draw 4 cards. But as it stands, you can only pick 1 of each of these, which in tandem is a very situational thing. Now, while it does work with the legend and you get to go 4, you can just play this for 4, draw 1. That's not a good rate. So you're always kind of in a spot where it's like, well, it has to be 5, so I at least get to hopefully do 3 damage to a unit at base, and that's pretty good. But the problem is, guess what? If they haven't got any units at base, then you have to just do the -4 thing, draw a card, or do thing. No, I want to like this card, but I have to work so hard, and it doesn't even really do the thing. So, Pattern Call isn't good. Sorry. Not that good. Our next legend is the Pride Stalker himself, Rengar Legend, for, obviously, red and orange, which reads, when you play a unit, give me 1 might this turn. So I and ahhed on Rengar, and ultimately I'm going to fall down and give him 3 out of 5. I think Rengar actually has a very interesting, unique ability. The problem is, he needs to be aggro. Like, he is like, we have to go in, and we have to keep going. Now, I don't think Rengar necessarily himself as a legend is really making everything go above. It's just a happy little extra. That kind of means you don't play Lucian, and you don't play Volibear, but it means we're more aggressive. Does it mean we're good? It means we have a bit more power, we have a bit more might to be able to go over the top of certain things, and with the theme that Rengar is very much pushing, especially with his, like, legends and everything, or chosen champions and everything, very much pushes you in that direction. But the Rengar legend himself it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Now, signature spell Rengar Thrill of the Hunt. Now, this is a good one. For 2 and 1 power, you have a reaction speed spell, which says banish a friendly unit, then its owner plays it to any battlefield, ignoring its cost. So the obvious one that you've seen a lot of people talking about is Bryn here. Why? Because, well, you can just play this if anybody does anything, and you have the opportunity of a chain, and then you simply stop anybody from playing anything. That's toxic. Now, outside of that, what it allows you to do is move ambush stuff around. Also, if something's going to die due to whatever effect, you can banish it. And now suddenly that is an invalid target, which now means you can then play this thing and now it won't die. If people are going to be coming in with a bunch of stuff, you can now pick it up and then ambush onto a different place. So a whole variety of things. Thrill of the Hunt is a 5 out of 5 card. This card's actually just very, very good. And I personally think you have to play 3 of these in Rengar, and it will just throw people's combat math. It will. It will. Yes, you have to have units, but like that's what your whole deck is going to be about. And I know where like the obvious counterpoints. If Rengar has any chance, it's because Thrill of the Hunt is like very, very good. So it's not the best signature spell in this set, but it's up there. The Blood Harper Ripper is the legend Pike, which also is for purple and red. So what it also does is 1, and you exhaust him, return a friendly unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. Play a gold gear token, exhausted. So, Pike, I'm just gonna do it's a 4 out of 5. Card's great. Legend is great. Purple yellow continuing to be good. Oh my god, who could have seen that happening? And even with the bans, I still think Pike is going to be very playable, but just based on explicitly only this legend effect itself, very strong. Very good at like allowing your stuff to go in, pulling it back, getting a play when I'm played trigger, moving around hidden units, which we've already seen with Pike himself is something they very much want to push and do. Very much allows you to get more value off of things like Katarina and a whole variety of other cards. Pike's great. Pike is great. And the deck will be at minimum good. Now, the legend itself might be better than the actual deck's performance, but that doesn't necessarily mean Pike isn't good. It's good. It's very good. Pike's signature spell is Death from Below, and it costs 4 with 1 power, which reads, kill a unit at a battlefield. Then, if it had 3 or less might, or 3 might or less, you may play this card from your trash for 1 power. So the idea is obviously, you kill a 3, kill a 2, and you kill a big thing. It's fine. This is actually a perfectly fine signature spell. The problem is it's the power cost. Now, obviously, Pike allows you to generate a bunch of gold, and if you can generate a bunch of gold efficiently, you could potentially kill a whole board. Realistically, the problem and the biggest downside to this is battlefield. And it's sad, this keeps coming up, but I mean, hey, this is how they balance the game, and if you don't have your certain units at a battlefield, it's really not that big of a deal. As such, Pike's signature spell is going to get a 3 out of 5. It's not busted beyond belief, but it means, yeah, you can kill an Elder Dragon if it's at a battlefield. Totally. But also if your opponent is like going in and going out and not really allowing you to hold, and also if you're holding one place, because you are playing hidden stuff, so you're probably going to hold one place and they've only got 1 unit at another battlefield, Death from Below suddenly becomes a very situational card. If it also had like action or reaction, potentially it'll be far more playable. Again, it's all in your turn, so it's only 3 out of 5. Our next legend is Piltover Enforcer Vi. Vi is red and yellow, and reads, when you conquer, if you assigned 3 or more excessive damage, you may exhaust me to ready a unit. Vi really is asking a lot. And the chances of you realistically always winning combat by 3 or more is unlikely at best. Even in this color pairing, you just have to compare it to the other colors, other legends in this color of Darius and Rek'Sai, and they both have very unique, impressive abilities. Vi has a unique ability, and being able to potentially exhaust and ready another unit, that's pretty powerful. You could very much look to do that with 2 cost Vi, have her get to a battlefield, ready, play her to your base, then untap, make everything go away in your discard. Suddenly she's massive, smash in. You definitely killed, when you conquered, you definitely assigned more than 3 excess damage to the final thing. Tap this Vi, now she's ready, gank across, win the game, right? That's it. It is very face up when you're doing that. And the problem is, you've got to basically make units massive to win combat to then really benefit from it. And you have to have ganking. There's too many hoops, and I don't like doing this. And Vi's not great. You're going to play Vi, but I don't know how often you're realistically going to be doing this ability. Vi's signature gear, obviously, was going to be Vi Equipment Hextech Gauntlets, which costs 3 energy, and have Equip 3 and 1 power. This ability's energy cost is reduced by the might of the unit you've chosen. So, as long as you pick something that's a little bit big, at minimum 3, so Vi herself in all forms, it's only a 1 power. So it's not too bad. It's just to basically make something that's smaller, not have to worry about it. It also reads, when I conquer, if you assigned 3 or more excess damage, draw 1, and has 3 might. So 3 for 3 might is very powerful with this effect as well. Very powerful. Again, the problem is you have to hit that 3 breakpoint, which basically means you're looking to, at minimum, match whatever unit you're going to be attacking into. And if they have any pump, suddenly you're now not winning. And if you trade, well, that's terrible for you. Ultimately, what I'm saying is Hextech Gauntlets are fine. They're better than Vi, but I can only really give them a 2 because you have to play them in a Vi deck. And I just don't see a world where realistically you're consistently winning combat in a constructed format by 3 where you get a lot of value. Now, if there's a combo and a way of doing it, totally could see otherwise. As it stands, it feels very gimmicky, and that's Vi's whole thing, sadly. So, not expecting more. Bashful Bloom is the legend for Lilia. Lilia is green and blue, and reads, for exhaust, play a ready 3 sprite unit token with Temporite. This ability costs 1 less for each unit with Temporite, meaning through obviously assessing all the other cards, Lilia can very easily do this for 3, even 2 with some consistency, especially if you have certain effects going on where you're generating a lot of units. Ultimately, I'm going to give Lilia a 3. The effect is pretty powerful, and you don't actually have to have the temporary units to actually truthfully benefit. The only problem is, you do kind of need to have the whole engine going for Lilia to really pop off. Now, Lilia herself, obviously, as blue Lilia especially, lets you reduce this cost. But then look to activate, play another sprite to that same location, and you're going to start generating a lot very quickly. It remains to be seen how powerful this is, and you do have to spend 3 or 2, hopefully, each turn. Now, this is a Sprite's Call that you have now just on your Legend ability, which Sprite's Call was always, especially in set 1, pretty powerful. Now, how good is that in this metagame? Will have to remain to be seen. But I don't think Lilia is unplayable, and if anything, he's actually kind of good. However, Lilting Lullaby, her signature spell for 2 and 2 power, reads reaction and counter a spell. Its controller can't play spells this turn. It's 5. It's probably the best signature spell outside of maybe Defiant Dance, but in a vacuum, Lilting Lullaby is insane. If opponent plays a spell out of their turn against a Lilia, they have to be aware they're always potentially walking into a trap. Now, Lilting Lullaby will, obviously, if you're against a Lilia deck, you will have to play your units first, and then you can play spells. But if you don't, it's... The problem is it only stops spells. You don't stop units. Now, if this was a full counter, its controller can't play spells this turn. If it just said nothing else could be played, no gear, no units, it would be so much better. But if you're in a spot where it's just counter a spell and that's it, it'll be whatever, right? Lilia seems very powerful, and the idea of playing like a very much a tempo-based Lilia deck and holding up Lilting Lullaby to stop people from kind of like comboing off or even playing multiple spells, pretty powerful. Is it the best spell, signature spell in the game? It's probably a pretty good one and stops people from playing like multiple spells, but it's only going to be for this turn. And the other thing is, opponents could definitely do something on your own turn, and then you might have to Lilting Lullaby, which feels a little bit bad. So, it's good. It's very good. I don't expect it to, though, warp the metagame, because Lilia herself is probably not going to warp the metagame. The next legend is Master Yi, Wuju Master, for orange and green, which reads, at level 3, your units have +1, and at level 11, your units enter in ready. So, level Master Yi is all about getting to at least this level 11 point, right? And if you realistically think about it, you want to be able to get to 11 with some consistency, in part so you can play your chosen legend, which will then come in with a bunch of discounts and everything else, as well as also coming in ready by default thanks to the Wuju Master himself, and he'll be a little bit bigger, and as well with all your other units. So it is kind of a race to 11, while also hopefully winning some points and not falling behind horrendously. Wuju, I'm going to give him a 3. I don't think Master Yi is going to absolutely dominate the format, but I think he is going to keep a lot of decks in check. Hilariously, I think he's very much the quote-unquote fair deck of the format and won't do anything absolutely busted. But if people are, like, kind of disrespecting and, like, going very, very slow, or potentially playing very greedy decks, I think Wuju Master will just be very cut and dry, a consistently good deck. So, I think it's a 3, and he'll be a meta keeper. Now, signature spell for Master Yi is Alpha Strike for 3 and 1 power. At action speed, choose a friendly unit. It deals damage equal to its might split among enemy units at a battlefield. For each unit killed this way, gain 1 XP. Card's great! And Master Yi now actually has a signature spell, because he didn't really have one before. And this could be played in actually normal old Master Yi, but also in this version as well. The action speed is also very important for the old Master Yi, because now you could be defending and then gain the ability. Now, the other thing to consider is you can do this at other battlefields. There is a very good chance you have a big unit and then you just Alpha Strike and kill basically everything, and then you can go in after the fact and gain some experience for doing all of this. As such, I think Alpha Strike is a 5 out of 5 card, and low-key will kind of dictate if Master Yi is actually good or not. It's a little weird to say that. I think he's going to be a fair deck, but Alpha Strike is going to potentially be one of those things where if your opponent controls both battlefields, they have a few units at one place and then one unit at another place, you're just going to be able to completely wipe, set it up to then overtake both and gain a bunch of experience in that turn. So Alpha Strike, crazy good. I love it a lot. The next legend is Vex, the Gloomist, and is purple-green, which reads, when you or an ally hold, you may exhaust me to draw 1. I think the ability is fine. Nothing crazy special. It's Grove of the Burnwillows, but it's on your legend. That's it. It's solid. Grove of the Burnwillows is like a 3 out of 5, maybe 4 out of 5 battlefield, because you can obviously plan to build it. You will build Vex to very much be a hold strategy, and as such, you will look to draw several, if not many cards through the Vex ability. So you're probably going to look to draw like 5 to 6 cards. Not terrible. Yes, we've been spoilt with Draven, but I don't think we're going to be anywhere near that now with mid-range Draven being... yeah. So I think Vex is now going to be able to draw a bunch of cards. Also, this artwork is adorable. I love this. But yeah, I'm going to give Vex a 3. I like Vex a lot, but I think it's more the package that Vex has that makes her a lot better. And the legend herself is fine. She's fine. She's fine. Her signature unit is going to be Shadow. Signature unit from the Shadow Isles for 3 and 3 might. And reads, if you play me to a battlefield, I enter ready. And has the action 1 and 1 power, tap, stun an enemy unit attacking here. So, Shadow is very good at being a stun on a stick, but then you can just kind of play it and do it whenever. If you're able to move some other stuff around, guess what? Shadow very much just goes, no, you're not going to do anything. It also means if your opponent ever has 1 energy up, they can always stun anything you're attacking, obviously wherever Shadow's chilling. But you'll always play Shadow to wherever you've probably got your purple Vex, which now means your opponents are always going to be aware, and now Shadow is always threatening any time. Without any spells, I will stun. Meaning, if you have Shadow plus another stun effect or anything else, you're just never getting in. Never. Never. So, Shadow, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Card's very powerful and becomes a must-kill unit. And if you don't kill him, you're probably going to lose. So, peace out to you, my dude. Our next legend is Ivern, the Green Father, for green and yellow. When you conquer or hold, you may banish me to replace that battlefield with a brush battlefield token. Yeah, not the most powerful of effects. It's an interesting effect, but it's not the most powerful of ones. To showcase brush, I will simply show it here. Brush reads, bird, cat, dog, Poro, and Ivern units have +1 might. When you score here, you may replace this with the battlefield it replaced. So, when you hold, you don't have to worry about it, but when you're back into this spot, you'll be in a place where it's like you're more powerful, and then you hold, and then you pull back off. But then you can also hold, and then you may exhaust him, and then replace that battlefield. So it's yeah. I don't rate this legend ability. I'm sorry, Ivern mains. I just don't rate this at all. Like, it feels very much a gimmicky, fun thing to do, and probably pretty good in multiplayer. But in constructed 1v1 competitive, which is how I've rated a lot of these cards, no. No. It's not there. I'm sorry, it's just not there. And while it's kind of cool of an effect and a very unique design space, I just don't think it's even worth doing. So, I'm not here. The signature unit for Ivern is Daisy. Daisy is a signature unit, Ivern from Ionia. For 9 and 2 power, it is an 8 might unit. Enters in ready. Reduce my cost for 1 for each of the tokens. So it's going to be -4, so it'll be 5, realistically. When I attack, while you have all 4 tags, stun an enemy unit here. Daisy's interesting, right? Because if we always assume you're going to have all 4 tags, it's a 5 unit that enters in ready, and then when you attack, you stun it, you stun something. So you're probably going to do it. You're probably going to actually be able to kind of have Daisy, like, kind of be a payoff. Outside of that, Daisy is fine. She's fine. It's fine. I'm going to give Daisy 2. When Daisy's really good, it's going to be, like, insane. When it's, like, when you're behind or you haven't got all the tags or tokens, she's not good. So Daisy is one of those cards where, like, the bar can be really good. But I think the average is actually a bit lower. And then it goes even lower and lower. So I don't think you're ever going to be in a spot where you're going to have multiple tags. I think you'll be best to have one or a few. But above that, it's... just Daisy is just like cool, but never going to get there. I also don't think the Ivern deck's going to be that good. But even if I just rate Daisy herself, you have to walk through a lot of hoops to just even get her to like a spot where it's like pretty good. Our next champion is Legend Diana for blue and a purple, Scorn of the Moon, which reads Reaction, Exhaust, add 1, spend this energy only during showdowns. I want to show my bias and make it known. I am biased because I love Diana. She's one of my favorite champions in League. Sue me. This is my video and my list. If you don't like it, tell me your opinion in the comment section or in my Twitch chat if you're watching live. I don't care. Diana's a 4 out of 5. The ability is like fine. It's worse than Darius. We can all agree it's worse than Darius. But I'm never gonna rate Diana lower than a 4. I can't. I don't care. I don't have to give a reason. But by the way, this ability is actually pretty good. It's pretty good. If you build the deck right, like you can benefit a lot from the ability. And I'll show you the card that is actually going to benefit massively from ability. As Moonfall, which is a 5-star card. All right, cool. So Moonfall, 3 and a power, is Diana's signature spell, which can be played at action speed, so you can play it down showdown. So it costs 1 less. So bow. And then it reads, choose a battlefield where you have units. You may move up to 1 enemy unit to that battlefield, then give enemy units there -2 this turn. So very much you can go in, kill a bunch of tokens, move something else over as well at the same time from their base. They might be wanting to protect something, and you can just go, nope, come over here. Lower everything cost, and absolutely go in. It's so good. Oh, it is that just yeah. Give enemy units there -2 this thing. It's so good. It's so good. Moonfall literally doesn't care. It does so much work. It's one of the best spells in Diana, and it's still movement. And movement, as we've just seen, is like not a thing that Riot are particularly happy about. They banned Final Flight for that reason. It was too powerful. So this card's just crazy. By the way, you build Diana at like mid-range aggro. I've already built several versions, and the deck is genuinely good. And Moonfall is one of the cards that absolutely pushes over the top. Don't get me wrong, I'm biased as F, but this is my list. This is my list. So that's it. Diana, Moonfall, 5 out of 5. Our next legend is LeBlanc Siva. And she is yellow and blue. When you conquer or hold, you may discard 1 and exhaust me to play a reflection unit token there. It becomes a copy of another unit there. Give it temporary. This card is 5. Like this legend is a 5 out of 5. LeBlanc is crazy. LeBlanc is crazy. Like, oh my... Yeah. Oh. There is so much utility just built into LeBlanc. And the fact is, there is so many ways of like generating a bit of card advantage. And then you just don't mind. You just don't lose. You don't lose. You just get to make more things. And even if your enemy does come in and they kill whatever, if you have a death kneeled unit, you're just generating value. If you have something like Blue LeBlanc, you're absolutely cooking people. If you do Zillion, you're popping off. Just LeBlanc is just an insanely powerful ability in a vacuum on her own. But then whenever you think of any units, it goes crazy mode. So Deceiver, LeBlanc, crazy. Crazy card. Mirror Image is a signature spell LeBlanc for 3 and 2 power. Choose a unit, play a ready reflection unit token in your base. It becomes a copy of that unit. Give it temporary. It's a 5. This is an incredibly powerful ability. Choose a unit. Doesn't have to be your own. It can be your opponent's. You can play it ready in your base, so you can go in if they've got like an Elder Dragon of their own. You can grab their own Elder Dragon. You can then attack him with whatever. You can now kill that Elder Dragon because the whatever. You then have an Elder Dragon. If you then play it at a base with a blue LeBlanc, you are not losing your blue LeBlanc, and now suddenly it's almost impossible to kill the Elder Dragon. You can do so much. Like, you can pick your own units, you can pick other units, you can now conquer, and then you can make another copy of it. This card's insane. I don't know if I can say this is the best signature spell, but it's up there. This is genuinely an incredibly oppressive spell. This card's great, and LeBlanc will be great. I'm just saying it now. Our next legend is Kha'Zix. It is the Void Render for orange and purple. When I win combat, gain 1 XP, which also has spend 1 XP, buff a unit, or spend 2 XP, move an exhaust friendly unit from a battlefield to its base. Alright, so it's got a very powerful second ability. It has an ability to always like get 1 XP one way or another through just winning combat, which is something they would like to do. And buffing a unit means if you ever need to get one through an extra like might for a breakpoint, solid. I'm gonna give Kha'Zix a 3. The problem is you do have to kind of have some other stuff going in the right direction, but it's pretty good. The idea of also winning combat, getting that, pulling back the unit as well. As long as you've got a little bit of XP generation, you're going to be able to move it back to its base, and then you don't have to worry about losing it. There's just a lot of good stuff. So I like it. I like Kha'Zix a lot, and as such, I'm going to give him a 3. Kha'Zix's signature spell is Void Assault for 2 and 1 power. Move a friendly unit, then move an enemy unit. Yeah, you heard that right. Move a friendly unit. Then move an enemy unit. The true choices that you are given is insane. But what's even more important is if they both move to a battlefield you don't control, you're the attacker. So if you've got anything with assault or anything that benefits from being an attacker, or whatever, you're in combat, and then you win the combat, and you gain experience, and you just... Void Assault is insane. It's truly a very, very, very pushed card. There is so many opportunities, and one Void Assault could lead to so many different outcomes, that it's like the best players will benefit massively from it. Newer players will probably not play it correctly, and that's why it's going to be an incredibly skill-expressive card. Void Assault is crazy, and I can't wait to do some playing with it. Our final legend is Poppy, Keeper of the Hammer. For 1 yellow and 1 orange, Poppy reads, when you hold, gain 1 XP. And also reads, spend 3 XP, draw a card. That's it. Poppy's ability is like pretty interesting, but like not crazy good. Drawing is always nice, but at the same time, it's not gonna break everything open and make it crazy good like Kha'Zix or others. I'm gonna give it 2. I really want to like Poppy more, but at the same time, I kind of look at it and go, well, she's fine. Good, even, but just only drawing and that's it. There is no other reason to play this champion or this legend in these colors. It's a bit sad. It's just a bit sad. Still better than Garen though. And Poppy's signature spell is Keeper's Verdict. For 2 and 2 power at action speed, choose an enemy unit at a battlefield. Its owner places it on the top or bottom of their main deck. This is Rebuke in these colors, but it's even better than Rebuke because it doesn't just go to hand. It either stunts their draw if they really want to keep it, or if they want to get rid of it, they basically fully recycle it and get rid of it. Card, very good. Keeper's Verdict is a solid 4 out of 5. Card is very powerful. It's thematic on the Poppy ult. I just like so much of this. So, I can't give it anything else. It's not going to change the absolute game, and if you're still doing it to a really powerful unit that has a play effect, you're still not going to be in a great spot. So, while I think it's good, it's not going to change the meta game. But it definitely gives Poppy some help in a spot where she's desperately going to need it. So, that's that. Alright, and time to dive in to our battlefields, the final few cards for Unleashed. And our first one is going to be Abandoned Hall, which reads, when a player plays a spell, they may give a unit they control here +1 might this turn. So this makes every single unit at at this battlefield, and it's done for a Ravenbloom student effect. Now obviously, this makes Irelia go crazy mode. But this also makes Diana, this also makes basically anyone that can look to play a bunch of spells go absolute bananas on this kind of battlefield. Which basically means if you're not those decks, you've got to find a way of getting certain things off of the battlefield, because if they play more than 1 or 2 different battlefields, it's crazy. This is probably, in my opinion, and this is a hot take, I actually know this is a hot take, this is the second best battlefield of the set. This is like top 2, don't get me wrong, but I'll let you know when we hit number 1. This is insane, this is truly a busted battlefield, but it's not the best. And if you know me, if you followed me, if you're on my YouTube subscriptions, which by the way you should like, comment, and subscribe, this is the second best one. If you don't realize, I'll tell you, I've already made a YouTube short on it. Seriously, but Abandoned Hall is genuinely a nuts battlefield and will probably break the format. I might even call for a ban. It might call for a ban. So, yeah. 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 Alright, moving on to our next one. Altar of Blood is a battlefield which reads, if a unit here would die during combat, its controller may pay 3 power to heal it and exhaust it and recall it instead. So realistically, it's only going to be Pike, Renata, and a few others which are able to generate a lot of gold that can actually really benefit this. Alternatively, you could look to play this in really big battlefield decks, or rather big unit decks, where you can just be like, yeah, it's fine if my unit dies, I can just afford to pay it because it's such a high impact one, like Volibear or like Elder Dragon or thinking of another big one, Adakan or Rift Herald, right? You get to have all these really big units, bring them back, Baron even, and then you go back in and you probably just get to absolutely run over people, and now they're gonna have to be in a spot. It is a lot of power, and I'm not gonna pretend it's not, but it's pretty good. So as such, while it is a little bit situational, I'm gonna give it a 3. I do think it is pretty powerful, but it's not the sort of battlefield which completely breaks open and everything's going to play it. Only certain decks are going to want to play this, because a lot of decks are just going to be like, yep, my unit dies, whatever. But big decks will want to play this, and potentially decks where they situationally play around 1 or 2. It is a lot of power, so that's why I also think like maybe Pike or Renata decks could potentially look to also benefit, because they'll play so much gold, they just won't care. Our next battlefield is Amateur Recital, which reads, when you hold here, you may move a unit at a battlefield to its base. So, interesting, it definitely gives move options for the decks holding for it, and ultimately, this is probably one of those battlefields where it's pretty good with Vex, who's going to be probably the best one to hold. It also has one of the best artworks in the game. Look at Vex and Shadow here, just kind of like judging, listening, but they're like, I don't know. Shadow looks completely done. Vex looks mildly interested, but at the same time, it's whatever. And this is my own impression of the card. I'm mildly interested. Do I think it's objectively good? Nah, it's like an amateur recital. There's like some good qualities to it. At the same time, there's some improvements. They could be better. And this battlefield could be better. So as such, it's a 2 out of 5. I enjoyed this battlefield, but it's not going to be universally played. It's not breaking the mold and, oh my god, it's so crazy. But it's fine. It's fine. It's a good one. Our next battlefield is Black Flame Altar. Units here have temporary, have shield. So this is Lilia and LeBlanc. I don't think shield is really one of those things that fully throws anything. Lilia benefits a lot more with her sprites now suddenly potentially just being 4 might units. If assuming you have like, and it could be like 8 might if you've got 2 of them at one battlefield. Really annoying. Even more annoying with LeBlanc, where you make a copy of a big unit and then you suddenly look at them and go, yeah, so the other one's even bigger. And they go, and then you can't get through that battlefield. So, interesting effect. Cool effect. Is it good? I'm gonna give it a 2. It seems cool, but like it only is like good in super niche strategies. And in those niche strategies, I think it's gonna be fine. I do like that it's not symmetrical. Realistically, only certain decks are going to be able to benefit from it, but it's the same reason I think Amateur Recital is like fine. It's like some decks will play this. And it'll be okay. It will make them slightly better in the matchup, which is how a good battlefield should work. It will help benefit certain decks and other ones won't go off. This one just isn't particularly powerful, unlike Abandoned Hall, which is busted. Anyway, moving on to our next battlefield, it is Dusk Rose Lab. At the start of your beginning phase, you may kill a unit you control here to draw a card. So, I think this is a 4 out of 5. This is a very powerful battlefield. Though, you do have to hold here, because at the start of your beginning phase, you may kill a unit here, meaning you've got to go a full turn cycle. And realistically, you probably want to get the draw, and you're going to want to also want the point. So you're probably going to have to kill either LeBlanc stuff, which makes sense, or Lilia stuff, which also makes sense. This is going to be great because then you get to draw more cards, which works really well with LeBlanc because she wants you to discard cards so that you can draw cards, and then you can keep going. And if you do it with a Death Knell thing, you get to draw even more cards. And if you do it with Yellow Bug, you draw so many more cards, and then you're in a very, very good spot. On the assumption you can hold and everything goes okay. It's pretty good. Drawing cards is always good. You will also probably just play this in token-based strategies because guess what? If your opponent just goes for it, you're like, yeah, I don't need to get the point. I can just throw another recruit on. Victor decks are going to like this. This is a highly versatile battlefield, which I do look at and go, if the purple-yellow deck in set 4 is able to do the whole Death Knell crazy shenanigans, this is going to be a battlefield they're going to play, and it's going to suck for everybody else. So we'll have fun. Have fun while we can still do this without it being, like, bustedly unfun. And I think it's just solidly good. I don't think it's going to break the meta like Abandoned Hall will. Or my other card, that I think is very, very good. My next battlefield is going to be Foreboding Waste. While a unit here is defending alone, it has -2. Cards, so whatever. This is one of those battlefields you look at it and go, okay, I can see this seeing play in like a random control. Like you'd be like, oh, okay, so you control and you get it down, and then units defending here. So like Kha'Zix players might want to do it because then it makes the opponent's thing smaller, and then they can pull back, and it's like yeah, I can see a method to the madness. It's still a bad battlefield. You just put 2 units there, put 3 units, put a bunch. Suddenly it doesn't do anything. I mean, I guess that is kind of the point, right? But it misses. It's not good. It's just not good. Okay? Okay. Cool. Next one. Forgotten Library reads, when you control this battlefield, you may play a spell. If you spent 4 or more, predict. So... this is a Jhin battlefield. This is like a Kai'Sa battlefield. This is an interesting battlefield. Is it particularly busted or good? Not really. Is it just okay and fine? Yes. Yeah, it's fine. It's not broken. You get 0.5 of a card. You work a little bit to get 0.5 of a card. But you just have to control the battlefield, so you could go in with a random token or whatever unit. You play a full cost spell. You get it. You could even potentially look to do one of the first spells that I talked about, which was Upstage Comedy, where you can ready it, but you could ready potentially 2 units, and you don't have to worry about it, because then you just pull this thing back, and then you just get to go again, and you predict it, and it's fine. It's fine. But I don't necessarily think this is like crazy busted. Some control decks will use this as well to like try and help like get cards in their graveyard. Thank you to my Twitch chat for that one with Ezreal as an example. But I don't necessarily think it's one of those cards where battlefields that I really think is going to like completely become mandatory play in everything. I'm sure some decks will play and get use out of it, and the enemy will just be like, yep, it is a battlefield that exists that gets you minor advantages, and I don't benefit at all, or only have like 4 cards that benefit me for it. So, yeah. Alright, next one is Frozen Fortress. At the start of each player's beginning phase, deal 1 to each unit here. Again, this is like a control one. This is particularly good, obviously, for like Aurora decks or anti-token decks. It's not like particularly busted though. It's going to be one of those battlefields that once you know what the established meta is, it's either good or it's just terrible. And that's it. That's genuinely it. This doesn't work with Elder Dragon, as this was one of the first questions when I saw this, and my Twitch chat and some judges politely informed me that no. Because how it works is you do not own the damage. Yes, this is not your damage, which is how Elder Dragon reads. This is just the battlefield doing damage, meaning it does not kill the units there at your opponent's battlefield. As such, I'm like, okay, this is like super situational and only really good in tokens. So I'm going to give it a 1. It's not that I'm going to say don't play it. It has some utility to it. It's just probably going to be highly situational. Maybe even a multiplayer one. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those. It's one of those. The next one is Gardens of Becoming, which has units here have exhaust game 1 XP. This one's interesting. I don't know how to judge this one. I'm not even going to pretend to. I think this card is basically a 2. But if like XP decks absolutely pop off, it's a 5. If it's just an okay value one, it's 3, because you go against decks which don't have XP, so you gain XP as the benefactor, but the other side doesn't. Also pretty good if you're holding. Realistically, though, I think it's a 2. I don't think all XP decks will play this. I think this is really just for Yi. You can get a bunch of units onto a battlefield. The plan is to try and hope or use Alpha Strike if things are going to go a bit south, and then you can try and gain a bunch of XP with that. They then pass over to you. You get a hold. You then get to tap, get a bunch of units, get a bunch of XP through your units. You also probably have Hunt on 1 or 2 of them, and you get a bunch of XP. And you go, yay, I did the thing. Yeah, that's Magical Christmas Time. And I don't think it's too unreasonable to get like 3 XP, maybe 4 XP from this in like a game. Oh! Unlikely. But there's a chance. There's absolutely a chance. Our next battlefield is Ripper's Bay. Which reads, when a unit here is returned to a player's hand, that player may pay 1 to channel 1 rune exhausted. This is a Pike battlefield. / Teemo. Pike. Which is like kind of interesting. It's also pretty good at, like, doing star-crossed lovers, or star-cross, rather. No lovers there, but we know. We know. It's fine. Very good in Pike. Doesn't matter anywhere else. The effect is, like, kind of good. I'm going to give this a 3. Simply being the Battlefield's effect is so, like, one-sided when it's good. So, specifically Pike, but it's, like, fine in Teemo. Right? Like, imagine being in Teemo and you just start flickering back your Teemo a few times and you channel a bunch of runes. You're like, okay, this is kind of good. And then you get to use those runes even more efficiently because you're Teemo, so you can hide things more. Like, there's utility to this. It's actively good. And every other deck just looks at it and goes, I'm not doing anything with this, but it's like, I need to not have them control this battlefield or having units return here because then they get to flicker things back. That's not good for me. So, it's a 3. It forces agency onto the opponent. I think this is a solid battlefield. Our next battlefield is Star Spring. The first time a player plays a non-token unit here each turn, so you'll realistically ambush, or you're going to have to play a unit directly there through other shenanigans, or you already control this battlefield and then you're playing. They may move another unit they control here, base. So, this also means if you attacked in with a big unit to control this battlefield, you can then play a unit from your hand to then flicker something back. It also means you can, if you're ambushing, you can now push back something that you are hopefully trying to save, and then you can panic get rid of something and then put that back instead. There's a lot of options ultimately with Star Spring, and I think Star Spring in general opens a lot of unique play lines. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's pretty solid. It's not like game breaking, and it's not like really good. Like, I recommend a lot more decks to play this. It's just good. The decks which are really going to benefit from it are going to really like it. And the decks which like are like, it's fine. It's okay. It's a solid. There's a bunch of decks that will consider playing this, and where it will end up sitting is probably like, some decks will play one of this, some decks will not play it. Some decks which also share the same legend, some will, some won't, especially as card pools expand. Star Spring will be a battlefield especially, that will be worth considering. This is the best battlefield. I don't care. This is the one that truly can go insano modes. So, it reads, the Academy, when you hold here, give your next spell this turn repeat equal to its base cost. So, I got a whole YouTube short on this, but ultimately speaking, the Academy is truly insano mode for purple decks specifically. But even with the bans, it's still insane. Like, by the way, it's still insane. Most of the cards that I said would go insane. This is it. We knew Cold Shot was getting banned when this got released, by the way. Like, it was painfully obvious that was happening. I still think the Academy is an incredibly busted battlefield. The amount of card draw or utility, things with Fizz now, where you get repeat with it, so you just go Fizz, bang, repeat, I just pay 3 and a whatever. But, like, this battlefield offers so much value that if anybody ever lets you hold the Academy, they have to be terrified that you're going to play one spell which will overthrow everything. My favorite one is to do it with Starcrossed, because the idea of flickering the same Fizz back to my hand with repeat, because that's how that works, but then picking 2 separate units of my opponent. I play a Fizz, I then flicker a Starcross, I then pay 3 and 2 energy and 2 runes, or 2 power, flicker that back, the Fizz goes back to my hand, the Starcross gets recycled, I've spent no cards, and I've now gotten rid of 2 of my opponent's units. I'm probably winning this game, but there is also, if I do it with stacked deck, I'm getting insane value mode. If you're doing this with Stupefy, you're still drawing to, like, the worst scenarios are still insane. Truly, it's insane. So, the Academy is my favorite battlefield. Don't get me wrong, Abandoned Hall is very, very, very good. I just think Academy is busted. The next one is Trapping Grounds, which reads, when you conquer here, if you assigned 3 or more excess damage, Play a 1-bird unit token with deflect. No. I'm sorry. This battlefield is actually just garbage poo-poo. Oh, the chance of you triggering this is, like, low. The chances of this ever even being good is, like, cool. You did the thing. You get a 1-bird. Oh. Oh. I get it's for Vi. I get it. But, no. No. This card's terrible. This battlefield's terrible. Do not play Trapping Grounds. If you are in a pre-release and this is the only one you got, don't play it. Do not play it. Play Vanilla. Vanilla is better than your opponent getting potentially a bird. Just no. No. Our next battlefield is Valley of Idols. When a player plays a unit here, they may pay 1 to buff it. Interesting battlefield. I'm not sure if it's good battlefield, and the fact that your opponent can also do this is scary, but it works really well with ambush. It works really well with the ability to also, if you just want to try and go for a big hold strategy and pull off, it's pretty good with set in that regard. It's not terrible with Fiora either, because if you can just find more ways of getting buffs, you're in a pretty good spot. It's genuinely all right. It's genuinely an all right battlefield. Is it busted? No. Is it okay? Yeah, I'll give it a 2. Some decks will play this, some decks will not. Some decks might try this and realize it's not that good. I don't think this is going to see, like, insane amounts of play, if even fringe play. But it's, like, not terrible. Like, there are worse things you could be doing, which I've already shown. So, yeah, Valley of Idols. Also, it's got great artwork. So, half a point for that one. Screw it. And the final card of my review is the Vaults of Helia. When you hold here, your non-token units cost 1 more to play this turn. So, obviously, this is the idea of playing a control deck, and you are looking to try and make your opponent's stuff, or rather, you make it so your opponents don't really want to conquer this battlefield. This is one of those battlefields where, if you control it, you're now maybe in a worse spot. I don't necessarily think this is, like, a particularly interesting or good one. It's not even a big, like... It doesn't even necessarily dissuade your opponent massively. They just cost 1 more. It's not like you have to recycle. It's not like you have to get rid of, like, things from your discard. If you don't, you can't do the thing. It doesn't punish you massively. It does potentially screw up some sequencing. So I'm going to still give it a 2, but it doesn't really change a lot of board states or crazy situations. So with that said, I'm going to give it a 2, and it's a perfectly fine battlefield that, like, Aurora will like, right? Like, we can all understand. Like, Victor decks might like this, but everything else is kind of going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to bother. So, with that said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon.